This is Galatians chapter 6, verse 3. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then he shall have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shemi Yahushai, and double honors to the elders and apostles who taught us his truth, from Apostle Tahar on down. And peace, blessing to your brothers doing this work in truth and in sincerity to you. I say shalom. Alright, so going into this lesson, talking about comparing yourselves amongst one another. Alright, stop comparing yourself to other men. Alright, first and foremost, other men in the spirit, right? Those of the body of the ministry, and second to those of the world. Alright, this is specifically going into comparing yourselves amongst other brothers, but it's very important that you don't compare yourself with other men in the world too, especially because these men, right, are not in the spirit. They don't even have the gift that you have. So you're automatically, if you want to say, greater than them. All right, you have a greater gift and reward than them because you were given the Holy Spirit. You were given the eyes and the ears to know this truth, the eyes to see, the ears to hear, all right, the heart to know, and the mind to believe. All right, you were given to get the faith. All right, where these people were condemned, right, in their own wickedness. All right, they were given to their own devices. They were given to their own wickedness. They were given after their lust. All right, but specifically going into men in this ministry, stop comparing yourself to other brothers, because comparison is the killer of joy. All right, when you compare yourself to another man, you take away from your own value. You take away from your own greatness. All right, you take away from your own abilities when you compare yourself to other men. All right, when you look at what another brother is doing, and you look at yourself in a negative light and think, damn, I'm not shit if I'm not like him, or I'm not as in the spirit because I'm not like him, or I'm not as faithful because I'm not like him. All right, well, that's nonsense, because the Most High, hey, that's basically saying the Most High is false. He's wrong, right? He made a mistake, right? Or he's unjust. Well, no, the Most High gave every brother his own portion of faith, all right, according to what was necessary for him. So what one brother's faith may be is necessary for that brother for his salvation, and what the level of faith you were given was necessary for your salvation. So stop looking at things in a perspective of weight and, you know, what's stronger, what's better, what's greater. Understand that every brother's striving for the same penny. Right, we're all, if you're going to be of the 144,000, you're going to be the 144,000. If you're going to be of the elect, you're going to be of the elect. All right, if you're going to be delivered and receive salvation, you're going to be delivered and receive salvation. All right, and that whole comparison mindset is not even going to be a thing in the kingdom. All right, because we're going to be too busy engulfed in the blessings and rewards that we were given. All right, but the point is to don't allow those intrusive thoughts to overtake you into believing that you're not good enough, all right, or you're not enough. If you're in the spirit, and when you do the work, you feel good about it, and you feel that you have a pretty good regiment or routine for how you get things done and how you make your sacrifices unto the Most High, that's the only thing you need to focus on. All right, if a brother is putting up 20 points a game and you're only putting up 12, well, guess what? Your 12 points are necessary for your spot on that team. All right, if we're all of a body and we're all striving for what? A seat on a chariot, which is salvation. So at the end of the day, if your 12 points is enough to get you a seat on the team, guess what? Your 12 points contributed to the winning, all right, of the championship. Your 12 points and 2 rebounds could be the what made the difference in you and us winning the game, right? Of the team winning the game, winning the championship. All right, you're still getting a championship ring. You still get all the bragging rights, right? You still get all the glory. And at the end of the day, there is no star player. All right, there is no MVP. The MVP is Yahweh Shai. He's the MVP, okay? And Yahweh is the owner of the team. All right, so Yahweh is the owner of the team. Yahweh Shai is the captain. All right, he's the team captain and he's the MVP. And we're what? Role players. All right, so you're a role player. The Most High said there's a body for a reason. All right, and no organ, like I said, I brought this out at camp on Saturday. No organ is greater than the other, because you can't live without a liver, and you can't live without a heart. You might think that the heart is the most important organ in the body. You might think that the brain is the most important. You might think that the lungs. All right, and you might think, oh, well, the intestines aren't that important, or the kidneys are not that important, or you can live without two, but you need a kidney, right? Or the liver is not important. But if you don't have a liver, guess what happens? Your body shuts down. All right, and if your liver completely fails, you'll die. Right? The same thing with your kidneys. All right, same thing with your heart. If you have liver failure, kidney failure, heart failure, all right, lung failure, you have all these different failures that happen, right, that lead to what? Ultimately, complete stopping of the heart. You know, you go into cardiac arrest, or you go into respiratory arrest. All right, and the same thing happens if you know, and what happens is with these other organs, when these organs stop working, it's a domino effect. All right, so the point is, there's no greater part of the body. All the body works together for what it's purposely able to do. All right, and verse 5 says, for every man shall bear his own burden. All right, you're bearing your own burden. Your walk is your walk. All right, your fight is your fight. No man is fighting that fight but you. All right, everybody has their opponent. All right, you have different weight classes. So if you have a welterweight class and a heavyweight class, you can't necessarily say one fighter is greater than the other, because if you have the greatest fighter in the welterweight division and the greatest fighter in the heavyweight division, they're both the greatest fighters, but what? In their own division. All right, and it's the same thing with us. We all striving to be the greatest, but what? In ourselves. All right, we're striving to be the best version of ourselves. So like I said, and the same thing comes to physical possessions on the earth. And if you ever notice that, hey, the Most High will give some brothers more physical possessions on this side, right? Those brothers might work a little bit more. They may have a little bit more of an abundance. So their numbers are not as high, but guess what? Their numbers are what? Their quality. All right. So those 10 points that you put up were game-changing shots. All right. You hit game-changing shots. Whereas another brother may have 25. He may put up 30 points. All right. And his 30 points contributed to what? To the total points that the team has scored. All right. He kept the team basically ahead of the other team. But the points that you put up were game-changing shots, all right? Morale-boosting shots. So you have some brothers who have quantity, some brothers who have quality, all right? If you were given a bigger portion of physical possessions on this earth, that was your lot. The Most High blessed you with that because what? He knew you could handle it. And then there's other brothers that he gave more time to so that they have the ability to put up more numbers. So don't sit here and compare yourself and think that you have to keep up with another brother's standard to be deemed righteous. Let's jump over here. This is Romans 12, and we're going to start at verse 4. It says, for as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we being many are one body in Mashiach, and everyone's member one of another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the portion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on our ministering, right? Or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. All right. And the point is, every brother has their own lot. Every brother has their own gifts. You got some brothers who have the gift of history. So when they put up their videos that's going into history and they can break it down and put it together and make it simple, you don't have to be a brother. You don't have to be that. If that's not your lot, if that's not your ability, you don't have to be that. Now, you can go and try to learn more about history, but don't force it. Don't try to become a history scholar if it doesn't work. But you realize that, damn, I'm really good at exhortation. I'm really good at exhorting brothers. Well, hey, stick to your lot, stick to your lane, and perfect that. Of course, you can, step outside your comfort zone and do a lesson on history. You might do a research on a specific topic, and you go into that. But you don't have to center your teaching and your works upon that. Right? If another brother is really good at, just teaching in general, like he's very eloquent and he's very good at breaking just general things down to the simplest form. All right. If that's not you, that's not you. Your teaching style is going to be your teaching style. Just realize that your teaching style is important, because you may get brothers that cling to your teaching style versus whom some may deem the most eloquent teacher. All right. Because for whatever reason, your style of teaching clicks and connects with that brother more than the so-called eloquent speaker, right? For example, Aaron was eloquent in speech and Moses was not. But guess what? There's some brothers that may have learned better from Moses' teaching versus Aaron's. So keep it simple, man. Find out what you're good at, find out what you enjoy the most, and do that, and be the best version of yourself possible. All right, don't try to emulate another brother. Of course, you can be inspired, but don't feel like you have to emulate him. All right, you need to be unique. That's the beautiful thing about the Most High, is that he made different brothers different ways, and he made it so unique that you'll connect with certain people, and you'll help build other people up just off of who you are alone. And it's okay if every brother don't watch your lesson. If you get 2 views on your lessons, those 2 people that view your lessons, they're the ones that are built up, and you help build them up through the Spirit. We're going to jump over here to 2 Corinthians 10 and 12. It says, let me see if I can start up. Yeah, we're going to start here. It says, we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. So those that compare themselves amongst each other are not wise. The scriptures clearly stated. It's not a smart thing to do, because as long as you compare yourself to other people, you will never reach your greatest potential, because all you'll try to do is to become something that you are not. There is a version of yourself that is waiting for you to cultivate into. And the only way you can do that is by looking within and learning yourself and learning the things that you're good at and focusing on the things you're good at. A lot of times people say, oh, you need to look at your weaknesses and strengthen your weaknesses. No, focus on your strengths, and the body and other brothers will pick up where your weaknesses are. So as long as you focus on perfecting your strengths, you can take little time here and there to focus on your weak points, but your focus should be on your strength, because your strengths are what's going to propel you forward. Your strengths are what's going to get you to endure. Your strengths are what's going to build up the body. If you're too focused on the things that you are not good at, you'll never be the best version. You'll never be what you're meant to be. All right. Imagine a basketball player who is really really athletic, and he's really good at jumping, and he's fast. He's good at getting into the lane and finishing and with layup and dunks. But if all he focuses on is shooting and shooting and shooting, he'll never reach his true potential, because he's ignoring the gifts that God gave him. And he's trying to be something else because he wants to be Steph Curry. He wants to be Ray Allen, Klay Thompson. He wants to be something that he is not. So now he's putting all his time and energy into something that he wasn't necessarily gifted at, and he's risking the opportunity to make it to the league or to the team, because he's not showing the team or the coach what he's great at and what asset he can bring to the team. Does that make sense? So focus on you and what you're good at. All right. Remember that version of yourself is waiting for you, and you have to go and strive for that. I've had to learn this myself. It was a long journey of learning this. I've suffered, and before the truth, I suffered slightly. I don't want to say suffered, but I had issues with identity crisis where I was trying to figure out who I was and how I wanted to be and how I wanted to live and what things I liked, what I didn't like, how I wanted to dress, how I wanted to talk, what I wanted to be involved in, all who I wanted to surround myself with. And I was so focused on looking at other people and how they lived and trying to emulate them because I thought it was cool or I liked that, instead of just looking at how people live and looking at people who are in a position I want to be in and taking little things from them and applying it to myself and making something of myself so that other people can look at me and be like, that man is authentic. I strive to be I want to be authentic. I don't necessarily want to be him, but I want to be authentic like him. So let me find out what that looks like for me. All right. So like I said, the point is, stop looking at other men. Stop it, Jake. Stop it. Focus on your walk and your walk alone. All right. Second Esdras, I believe the 7th chapter breaks it down perfectly. If it's the 7th or it's the 9th chapter, I mixed up. It's around there, and it goes into how there's one path and one path alone, and only one man can go down. All right. And another brother, and how they work and how they make their money is how they make their money and how they make their work. And it's the same for you. All right. So how you serve the Lord is how you serve the Lord. How you pray is how you pray. How you pump your lessons out is how you pump your lessons out. How many times you go out and teach is how many times you go out and teach. How many lessons you do is how many lessons you do. If the Spirit is on you to do 4 lessons a week, do 4 lessons a week. And make those 4 lessons edifying. That's your goal. If your spirit is to teach out on the highways once a week, then make that one time you teach edifying. Of course, if you have the ability to go out one other time or 2 other times and it's in your spirit to do so, by all means do it. But if you don't necessarily have the time, or it's not necessarily within your schedule and on your spirit to do so, then don't do it. Okay? It's that simple. So, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I'm going to leave it there. Till next time. Shalom.